Even the blind could see that Manchester United are in need of a striker, and now they are limited in their options. After deciding to let Cristiano Ronaldo leave for free agency in November 2022, the Red Devils had run out of choices to captain their forward line. Wout Weghorst, the Dutch international, joined Old Trafford on loan from Burnley during the January transfer window, but many saw him as a temporary solution. Although Aubameyang has valuable Premier League experience with stints at Arsenal and Chelsea, it has been advised that the Red Devils should stay well away from the awful player this summer. Parker, a former United defender who won 2 Premier League titles while playing for the Red Devils, said of Aubameyang, "He's a bit of a rogue, but I don't think that would be the problem. Erik ten Hag, one of the few managers in existence, would be able to handle him, as Sir Alex Ferguson did with Eric Cantona. The issue is that he is not permitted to represent Manchester United. Just so elementary. With how terrible he has been at Chelsea, it would seem ludicrous to me if he were ever connected to a move to Manchester United. In my perspective, Erik ten Hag isn't even taking the possibility into account." Aubameyang will likely face a number of difficulties, in my opinion. At a time, the Premier League's leading scorer, Erling Haaland of Manchester City, has 18 goals all by himself, while the Reds have only scored 20 goals in the season. Despite the contributions Anthony Martial seems to make under Erik ten Hag, he cannot be counted on to stay in shape. His problems with number 11 are well known, and now Cristiano Ronaldo has ended his United career. Martial and Marcus Rashford are now the only senior forwards on United's roster, making this summer's top acquisition. As the only consistent goal scorer for Manchester United this year, left winger Marcus Rashford, manager Erik ten Hag is in desperate need of a prolific striker. Although the 25-year-old has had excellent success in the striker position after moving, scoring 25 goals and dishing out 9 assists in 40 appearances for the Red Devils. The Dutch manager is aware of the value of having a second goalscorer in his lineup. The former Ajax boss was compelled to buy Dutch forward Wout Weghorst during the winter transfer window due to Anthony Martial's ongoing injuries. Yet the 30-year-old has only been able to score once in his last 14 games. Given the possibility of playing in the Champions League next season, ten Hag is eager to add a dynamic striker to his lineup. As for Mason Greenwood, should he rejoin Erik ten Hag's squad after the club's internal investigation, Manchester United attacker Mason Greenwood might run into a problem. In October 2022, Greenwood was charged with 3 counts: 1 offence of controlling and coercive behaviour, 1 count of assault causing actual bodily harm, and 1 count of attempted rape. In order to determine the 21-year-old's future at Old Trafford, United is currently conducting an internal review after the prosecution dropped all allegations earlier this month. Finding one, though, is not so simple. It's simple to spot the world's Ivan Tonys, Victor Osimhens, and Jonathan Davids, but they'll be pricey. With 21 goals and 4 assists in 26 games this season, Victor Osimhen has been in excellent form and presently sits atop the Serie A scorer list. According to reports, the international player from Nigeria will set United back £100 million, since Napoli is determined to maintain their star. Given that a superstar Harry Kane transfer may cost someone about 9 figures, Tottenham is also hesitant to part with their best player. The 29-year-old has a history of being a consistent goal scorer, and this season, he's continued that trend with 20 goals in 36 games. While the Red Devils are considering signing AS Roma's Abraham, who is a sought-after player across Europe, the Italian powerhouses have set a £70 million asking price for the 25-year-old. Considering that he has 7 goals in 34 games, perhaps the high price would lead United to look for less expensive choices. Benjamin Sesko, a 19-year-old who is scheduled to join RB Leipzig, a sister club of RB Salzburg, in the summer, is one such reasonably priced alternative. However, the Manchester team is considering a potential hijack deal. What options would United have if they wanted or needed to look elsewhere? Ollie Watkins. Watkins, who took over for Ivan Toney at Brentford, frequently scored against the Red Devils. With his direct running, capacity to press defenders, and ability to run the passes to stretch defences, he's a player that could be well adapted to a Ten Hag style at age 26, and is a Premier League veteran. Watkins might be the kind of player the Reds need to add the menace they currently lack in the penalty area. Given that Watkins has a contract through 2026, 2025 and that Villa is not under any obligation to sell, the only potential big obstacle could be price. Silva, Andre. The focus of the conversation has been on Christopher Nkunku of RB Leipzig, but given that he isn't a pure striker and might fetch upwards of £100 million, it doesn't seem like this is the kind of signing that Ten Hag will be seeking. United should perhaps take a closer look at Nkunku's teammates if he has been scouted. Due to a number of factors, the Portuguese striker's move to Milan did not pan out. However, since his move to Germany, first with Frankfurt and then Leipzig, Silva has begun to revert to his best. Silva is the kind of striker who can finish off the opportunities United is completely lacking. He can lead the line by stepping back to protect the ball and let runners pass him. Silva's contract runs until 2026, and while Leipzig is a selling club, a significant sale of Nkunku might eliminate the need to sell anyone else, much like Watkins did. Marcus Thuram. Lilian Thuram, who still holds the record for most caps for France, was one of the best defenders of the early 2000s and the late 1990s. Thuram struggled to get going and fluctuated in and out of the Borussia Mönchengladbach lineup. Thuram, a footballer, is another whose prime years are still ahead of him at age 25. Thuram won't likely be expensive, nevertheless, in contrast to the other possibilities. Thuram's contract expires in July, so United could start talks with him in January about a pre-contract agreement. This would allow them to sign two strikers in the summer without having to go over their transfer budget. Alternatively, they could try to sign Thuram for a low fee in January, as Borussia Dortmund has demonstrated in the past by selling Denis Zakaria to Juventus. Gonzalo Ramos. Other than the astronomical transfer fee, one of the main reasons Benfica agreed to let Darwin Nunez join Liverpool was that they were aware of the talent they possessed in-house. The 21-year-old took advantage of the chance that was given to him by scoring 14 goals in 21 matches earlier in the season. With 20 goals in 45 games overall for the Portuguese Giants, he is averaging near to a goal every other game and has plenty of room to grow. But it doesn't matter because at 21, Ramos is still a very raw player. This can be advantageous because Erik ten Hag can shape him, but it also means he might make hasty decisions because he's still getting used to the game. Ramos might be able to get Benfica to sell by demanding a hefty amount, just like Nunez did before him. Youssef N'Siri. Sevilla's Moroccan attacker may be a true wildcard selection. Sevilla's 25 average of making a significant impact at the World Cup is about 1 in 3, but a 10-game dry spell at the beginning of the season is worrying. However, Sevilla had a terrible season to begin with, so perhaps it's just a blip. With his 6 feet 2-inch frame capable of being the offensive channel United needs, N'Siri may be the man to turn to if United is seeking someone to lead the line. N'Siri might not be the person United looks to as their primary striker, but N'Siri though may be the perfect reserve to cover for Martial's inevitable injury layoffs, or to give him a respite to perhaps ease those ailments if Ten Hag wants to stick with Martial, his first option attacker. There are rumours that United are treating the South American market more carefully this time around, after letting Moises Caicedo and Julian Alvarez slide through their fingers in the previous 2 seasons. Like almost every other significant European power, United is displaying a strong interest in Endrick of Palmeiras. So who else may they be keeping an eye out for? That was it for today, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments who you would like to see playing in that striker position for Man United.